Emmerdale has unveiled the full scale of Joe Tate's plan to coerce Cain Dingle into selling the remaining portion of Butler's farm, as Moira remains imprisoned. Earlier, the ITV drama showed Joe pressuring Robert and Victoria Sugden to hand over their shares, and he has been targeting Cain ever since. Strapped for cash, Cain recently partnered with his granddaughter Sarah to steal several cars. Sarah is the only family member aware of Cain's prostate cancer, while Moira remains completely unaware. In tonight's episode, Joe hatched a scheme to catch Cain in the act after suspecting him of taking his previous vehicle. Joe paraded his brand new car, parking directly outside the garage, while stopping at the Woolpack for a drink. Worried that Gabby Thomas might cancel her beef order from Butler's farm following Joe's advice, Cain considered stealing again, this time targeting Joe's new car. Following Cain's instructions, Cami Hadik went to the Woolpack and created a diversion by knocking over Joe's drink. While the two argued over the spill, Cain swooped in and grabbed Joe's car keys. Acting fast, Cain sold the stolen vehicle. When he returned to the garage, a confident Joe approached him. With his phone in hand, Joe showcased the car's extra features, including remote tracking and hidden cameras just in case. He had one final surprise for Cain, a video proving him as the car thief. Joe explained that Cain had only one option to avoid prison: sell Moira's half of the farm. "It's not for sale," Cain insisted. "I think it might be," Joe countered, pointing to the evidence on his phone. A frustrated Cain punched Joe just as Dawn walked by and rushed to help. Dawn wanted to call the authorities, but Joe reminded her he would heed her earlier advice and go easy on Cain this time. Once alone, Joe urged Cain to consider his children and act sensibly, offering a fair price for his shares. After overhearing the exchange, Graham Foster visited Cain. "I don't agree with his tactics, but Joe isn't bluffing," Graham warned, aware of Cain's illness. "You need to face reality before it's too late." "Take the offer," Graham pressed. "You have bigger concerns. Have you told Moira about your diagnosis?" Cain dismissed him but seemed to contemplate Graham's words. "Don't dig your own grave, Cain," Graham added before leaving. "You'll soon realize it's nearly impossible to escape this." Emmerdale reveals emotional reason behind Marlon and Paddy's special episode. Get ready for some tears. Emmerdale star Mark Charnock has shared exclusively the heartfelt story behind Marlon and Paddy Dingle's upcoming two-hander episode, set to air in the next few weeks. Both Marlon and Paddy have faced tough times recently, grappling with the aftermath of Ray Walters and Celia Daniels' shocking crimes. After handling their struggles mostly on their own, the time may now be right for the longtime friends to come together. "This episode really shows how much Paddy and Marlon rely on each other," Mark told Inside Soap. "Paddy is experiencing something deeply traumatic, and Marlon is going through a situation that could be traumatic. It's like they're drawn to each other across the village. They just had to come together to cope, and that's exactly what happens in this story." It marks the first time the beloved pair will headline an Emmerdale episode on their own, and Mark is excited about the opportunity. "The writing and directing are fantastic," he added. "Marlon and Paddy haven't really had a proper two-hander before, apart from the spin-off clips. It's thrilling to do. We've had some long scenes, and it's been a real joy." Dominic Brunt, who plays Paddy, first teased the special episode last month. "There's an episode coming up with me and Mark, just the two of us, where we open up to each other and reconnect," Dominic said. "It's wonderful because their friendship spans 3 decades. I'm really looking forward to it." This year, Marlon has been doing his best to rebuild his family's life, following the tragic deaths of Ray Walters and Celia Daniels. The past months have been particularly difficult for him, not only because of the loss of his former partners, but also due to the traumatic events that unfolded last year, when his teenage daughter, April Windsor, was groomed by the same villainous duo. Despite these challenges, Marlon has been determined to protect his family and create a sense of stability for April and the rest of his loved ones. However, Marlon's hopes for a calmer 2026 could face new turmoil, as Graham Foster has returned from the presumed dead and is determined to win back Rona Goskirk, potentially complicating life for Marlon and those around him. At the same time, Paddy has been desperately trying to shield his father, Bear Wolf, after witnessing him commit Ray's murder. With several close calls recently, the pressing question remains, will D.S. Walsh finally gather enough evidence to prove Paddy and Dylan Penders were involved in covering up the crime? Emmerdale to air longest ever Cain and Moira scene. Here's what to expect. She feels like her entire world is collapsing. Natalie J. Robb, who plays Moira Dingle, has revealed an upcoming emotionally charged 12.5-minute scene with Jeff Hordley's Cain, set to air next week. The sequence will see Cain opening up to Moira about his struggles, before revealing to the rest of the Dingle family that he has been diagnosed with cancer. Fans can expect a deeply moving episode that highlights the strength and bond between the couple. Following advice from Dr. Liam Kavanagh, Cain updates Moira on everything he has endured while she has been behind bars, including the aggressive progression of his illness. Rob explains that Moira's immediate reaction is shock, as she processes just how serious Cain's condition has become. Despite her own fear, she encourages him to break the news to the rest of the family, including Kyle, Isaac, and the wider Dingle clan. Talking about the scene, Rob said, "That moment where he tells me it runs for 12.5 minutes. We filmed it straight through without forgetting a single line. It was intense, but incredibly rewarding to perform." She praised the writing, saying, "Adam Sayles wrote it beautifully. He's come up through the ranks and knows the characters inside out. A scene this long could feel overwhelming if it wasn't written with the characters in mind, but here it just worked perfectly. I could hear Cain's voice, Jeff's voice, and it all clicked in naturally." Rob added that the emotion in the scene was palpable. When a scene is written right, you feel it. Even with different camera angles, you can keep the emotion intact. Tim, the director, is excellent. He likes to film close-ups first to ensure the emotion comes across, which really helped. Jeff was particularly amazing in that moment. On Moira's state of mind, she said, "She's in complete shock. She feels like her whole world is crumbling. Cain is her rock, just as she is his, and everything revolves around the family. She's thinking, what about the boys? What are we going to do?" Hordley added that filming with Rob was both challenging and joyful. "Working with Natalie is incredible. We really bounce off each other. We did lots of prep via Zoom and FaceTime to make sure we could focus entirely on the emotion when we were on set. I hope viewers stick with this scene because it's such an important moment for Cain and Moira. It's a real highlight of the story so far." The upcoming episode promises to be one of the most memorable in recent Emmerdale history, showcasing both the love and resilience of Cain and Moira as they face one of the toughest challenges of their lives. Emmerdale airs weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and streams on ITVX.